So Hare Krishna devotees, hope you all enjoyed the first chapter in the battlefield. So before I start off with the second chapter, I want all of you all to set the mood, right? So you are right now going into the battlefield. So you are in the battle. So before we start the session, let's start off with Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanattimurandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamani Haripriye Vancha Kalpadarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Come on, one time, all of you. You can follow me. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So yesterday you all did the second chapter, right? Sorry, the first chapter. So today we are moving on to the second chapter. So in this first chapter, Krishna had some challenges, right? So what are the 4 challenges? Can anyone tell me, or you can type in the chat? Mute option is open, so you can unmute yourself. So what are the issues which Arjuna was facing? Hare Krishna. See, you all wanted the session to be interactive, so it has to be both ways. So please go ahead. Can you see the screen? Okay. Thank you. It's all in the chat. Hare Krishna. Kushi Pillai, yes, compassion. Hare Krishna. Rishabh, yes, he was not ready to fight his brothers. Very true. So these 2 reasons. Besides that, fear, correct? Fear of committing sin, right? So sin, compassion, sin, not fighting his brother is family, right? Family tradition. So 3. So what is the 4th one?
Enjoyment.
Exactly. Very nicely you brought in. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Enjoyment, no enjoyment, right? So he is having the 4 challenges, right? Now the 5th one will come up now, which is indecisive, right? A typical condition which we will face. There will be a situation where we don't know what to decide, right? So let's dive into the chapter. I'm so proud of you all. So just a quick summary of what we did yesterday, which we already did, but a formal summary. Dhritarashtra's inquiry is 1.1. Kima Kurva. So what is happening is Dhritarashtra is not differentiating his his children. He is differentiating. So obviously he's not supposed to differentiate, because technically you see, if your dad's brother's children come, will your dad take care of them well, or will he treat them like, you know, somebody who's just come as a nuisance? How would he treat your cousins? I can't hear actually. You can unmute and talk. The facility to unmute is with you. So how will your dad take care? You don't have to type in the chat. Take care of them well. Oh, thank you so much. You can even unmute and talk. So why do they take care? Because they treat them equally, right? In Dhritarashtra's case, Pandu is no more, which means Dhritarashtra becomes official guardian come father, right? So ideally he should be taking very good care of them, but instead he very clearly, differentiates. So that's why the first one goes like this, right? Dhritarashtra Vasha Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samavedanta Utsavaha Mamaka Pandava Chaiva Kimakurvat Sanjaya. Mamaka Pandava Chaiva means my children and Pandava. So he's differentiating, number 1. Second is Kim Akurvaga. So what Kim means what? Akurvaga, what are they doing? So obviously in a battlefield, right? So you go to your classroom in your exam, nobody will tell what are you doing. I mean, it's very common, right? When we write exams, most teachers tell what are you doing? Why? Because we are not doing the right work. We are dreaming or we are looking at someone, right? Like that, Dhritarashtra is asking, what are they doing? Because he's very scared if these guys are going to fight or will they pull over, right? So Duryodhana's fear is explained between 2 and 11. And Duryodhana is an amazing politician, right? So he says, Mahatim Chamum Vyudham. So what is he trying to tell is, in this, he is exhibiting his fear. And how do you normally do? When you start any work, right? Whether it's a house building or you go for an exam, you normally try and please your, whoever it is, your elders, right? You don't want to pick a fight with them. Yes or no? You want to pick a fight or you don't want to pick a fight just before going to an exam? Wait, let me just, all of you can unmute yourself. Right? So, yeah, so you don't have to unmute, right? Okay. Sorry, you don't have to pick a fight. So, but look at him right before the war. He actually goes around with Dronacharya and he's typically insulting Dronacharya straight away. He is, bringing in the story of Drupada. I'm sure yesterday Vrinda would have explained that story, right? So those kind of things shows that fear, and top of it, blowing of conch shell, which is your third part between 12 and 19. Hridayani Vyadaraya. So shows very clearly that he is having that Hridaya Durpalyam, he's struggling. And what is Arjuna's observation? Gandhivam Shamsate Hadstat. So that means he wants, he is somebody where Gandhiva is very close to. No matter what, he will never put down his Gandhivam. But his Gandhivam he had to put down because he was so scared, right? And why all this happened? Because he tells Krishna, please take the Senior Ubayor Madhyes, right? So take the chariot in the middle of the battlefield. So he says this, and the moment he takes, he gets very uncomfortable because Krishna wants this Bhagavad Gita to be spoken, and therefore he puts the chariot not before Duryodhana but right before Bhishma and Dronacharya. So he knows very well that such a thing is going to make him feel very uncomfortable. So that's done by him on purpose. And Arjuna's reasons not to fight, right? Apratikaram ashastram. So what does it mean? What are the reasons? And you all already told the 4 reasons, and the 5th reason we are going to see now. Now, before we jump here, are we all confident that Pandavas will win? Acha, a lot of chat. Hare Krishna, yes, Chetan, Hare Krishna. So, are you all confident that Pandavas will all win? Or anyone has a doubt Pandavas will not win? You're confident, Pujita. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So, what are the reasons? There should be, thanks, Rishabh, but why? What could be the reason? There should be a specific reason, right? Pandavas may be powerful, but they were only 5. But you see a whole army of the other, yeah, they are dharmic. Yeah, that's a beautiful, right? So they were dharmic, agreed. But besides that, what are all the reasons which could be? Krishna is with them. Very nice. Yes. Usually this reason comes last, but it's come first. Thank you so much, Pujita. Hare Krishna. Yes, Krishna is with them. That's one prime reason. Don't have to have any other reason. But besides that, Kapitwaja. Yes. Thanks, Kushi. Hare Krishna. Yes, Kapitwaja. Kapitwaja means the flag which has Kapi means monkey. What is our monkey? It is Hanuman, right? Imagine Hanuman, right? And Moksha Ekadasi, amazing. Kushi, is this the first time you're attending, or because the name is familiar, but your answers are very nice. Thank you so much. Moksha Ekadasi, yes, Moksha Ekadasi, right? So that day it's very special and it always favors people. Important, yes, Krishna is important. The chariot given by Agni, yes, Pujita, thank you, and Chetan, yes, Krishna. Chariot given by Agni Dev, absolutely. So these are the reasons. And besides this, couple of things is it's Dharma Kshetra, right? It's called Kurukshetra. And anyone who dies as a Kshatriya, and especially in this battlefield, on that too on a Moksha Ekadasi, becomes super special because a lot of good pious activities, yagnas have already been done. So it's called Punyasthanam, and the first reason which you told. So that place will always favor the dharmic activity. So that is what it is coming. And also goddess, wherever the goddess of Lakshmi is there, where will she be there? Wherever Krishna is there, right? So she's also there. Thank you, Bhagya Lakshmi. Yes, she's there. So that is fortune, right? So she brings fortune in all ways. And also very nicely, one more reason is there. Can anyone remember one more reason? Can anyone recall one more reason besides all this? Which is right there on the screen. Conch shell. When the Duryodhana's team blew the conch shell, there was absolutely nothing. Whereas when Krishna blew his conch shell, right? And while I'm going to talk, I'm going to type the name of the conch shell of Krishna. People on the other side felt very scared. Their hearts shattered. You'll ask me what effect it has. How can a noise make a difference? Duryodhana was scared, not just Duryodhana, because what happens is sound vibrations make a very important role. I'll give you a common example. You go in the road, right? It may be totally irrelevant to you. You may be in the opposite side. You will be very, very absolutely ground gets vibrated. So in the road, some two jokers are fighting, right? Not relevant to you. You don't know them. It doesn't matter. And you're very safe with your, whoever it is, friend, family, and you're in absolute safe hand. But still, do you see your palpitation increases? Maybe you've not noticed or you've noticed, but you're like, so that is one. Second thing is during British time, there was a lot of poets were there, but I am from South, so I'm going to take the name of Bharatiyar. So Bharatiyar, had sung a lot of songs. He never practiced violence, nor violence, nor did he do anything. He was only a poet. But they used to arrest him. Why? Because he used to sing those poets' song so powerfully that it used to arouse the fighting spirit in people. So sound has a lot of power, and so are y'all. Y'all are here in this class because some sound had always told you, whether it's from within or around, I don't know. That's something which you all know, that you must hear Bhagavad Gita, right? That thing which arose in you. These are all sound vibrations. Hare Krishna. So that did have an impact. So quick recap. I am not going to ask because you did already. Now, can you guess what could be the fifth reason which we haven't discussed so far, which is going to come up in the second chapter? What is the fifth reason? Fifth reason is indecision, which is what I told. Started off with. Most of the time we are very confused. We don't take decisions. So that is why it is indecisive, right? So these are the reasons with which it is happening. So what happens is, before we start the shloka, the first two shlokas are basically Arjuna and Krishna are friends, cousins, relatives, right? So Arjuna, when he is indecisive, before he becomes indecisive with 4 reasons, Krishna is very upset. So no, upset, not in the upset sense, but then he is scolding. He's telling Kashmalam idam. So Kashmalam means you are. How can you do this? How can you even allow? And Klebium means impotent, right? You're from such a great dynasty, and how can you be like this? How can you behave like like just a roadside person? You cannot give these kind of reasons, right? So he's upset. Upset in the sense he gives it to him. But what happens is in 2.6, he's very indecisive, he's confused. And therefore, he actually in 2.7, chants this. And the moment he chants this, which I will chant now, can someone read the text after I chant this? That will be nice. And you can raise your hand or you can start unmuting and read. So what happens the moment he chants, he becomes, he surrenders, the role changes. So far, they were friend, relative, all that, right? So from this shloka, Krishna becomes a spiritual master. Arjuna becomes just a normal, a friend. From friend, he shifts to a complete subordinate position, which means he's a shishya, right? So even here you have gurus. So what is guru? Anyone, even in the road, who tells you direction, you go to the temple this way, that way, it becomes a prada pradhasta guru. And anyone who's teaching you becomes siksha guru, right? And anyone who gives you initiation, the Brahmins who wear the thread, those initiation can be done by Vaishyas. They are called the Diksha Guru, which will come up later. Hare Krishna. Karpanya dosho prahata swabhava prichami tvam dharma sammuda cheta yakshreya chanichitam bruhi tanme shishyastehaham shadi mam tvam prapannam. Hare Krishna. Pujita, please go ahead, Mataji. You can read now. Hare Krishna. You can unmute. Pujita, you can read. Rishabh, maybe first 5 Pujita can read. Next 5 Rishabh can read. And Kushi Pillai can read the next 5. You can unmute yourself, please. Oh, sorry. I think, you were not able to unmute. I don't know. Yeah, you can unmute.
Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrounded unto you. Please instruct me, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, so clear, right? And so sweetly he says, now please tell me decisively, clearly what I should do. I am confused. Now I don't know what's my duty, because Kshatriya's duty is to fight, right? In the end of chapter 1, all of us would have felt, oh my God, Arjuna is so sweet. Yes or no? Arjuna is so sweet. He doesn't want to fight. And what is the issue? He's doing the right thing. He is ahimsa. He is so right, right? But what is also the duty is, if a Kshatriya picks up a sword, he has to fight, because this fighting is not for himself. It's like a military man or a police. So let's take a situation where in the Kashmir border, somebody is standing, and in the middle of the war, Pakistan is shooting. And one commander in chief says that, no, I don't want to shoot, ahimsa. And he just drops the gun. What will be the fate of the rest of them over there? And what will be the fate of all of us sitting here? What would you tell such a person? Will you say, wow, he's following ahimsa? Would you say that?
No, ma'am, no.
No, thank you so much. That's exactly the situation of Arjuna. And look at Krishna's position in the middle of the battlefield. Now he is the charioteer, and he is now stuck to convince him, right? So now we move on. So you can see Arjuna, and imagine a Kshatriya is very bold. He can tolerate any amount of pain, trauma, and look at him. He is appearing to be weak and he's crying, right? And he surrenders to Krishna. That's the best thing which he did. I really, what I see works when your vision is impeccably perfect, right? Seeing is believing. We always say that, right? So now, what do you see now in this picture?
An ocean.
Yeah. And now?
Clouds.
Sorry, I can't hear.
Clouds.
Yes, Rishabh, clouds. And now?
Tree.
Tree.
Tree, okay.
A parrot.
Parrot.
Yeah. And now, Kushi, you're telling it's a parrot, but you didn't tell a parrot when I showed you the first picture. Why? Because we couldn't see. And we keep believing that seeing is believing. Until I see, I won't follow. So something which is slightly away from us itself, it's a problem, right? So here, so this is what he is talking about. Why are we, and what is the issue? What is the topic which he is talking about? First issue we spoke about is compassion, right? So here he says that you should be compassionate, but for what are you feeling compassionate? And he's going to give an explanation of this issue, which he has answer 1 for compassion between 211 to 230. He is going to address this, and let's hear what Krishna is saying. Hare Krishna. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuyati. Hare Krishna.
As the embodied soul continually passes in the body from boyhood to youth and to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change.
Hare Krishna. So very nicely he's telling, right? So we keep telling that, no, I have not changed, I'm just this, right? But whereas if you see us, we are growing from a small child until death, there are so many changes. And even biologically, they say once in 7 years, all the DNAs are dead, which means that everything about us has been changing, right? So what is happening is this embodied soul has been continuously moving so many stages, and ultimately it dies. So this soul is not bewildered by the change. It does happen that way, right? What happens is, likewise, he's telling that you don't worry, because this body, you should not worry, because this body is just like a vehicle. If you go in a car, and if there is a damage to the car, you don't worry too much. Yes, you're upset, but then you're not worried, right? So he says, so is the soul. Soul, he's going to talk about soul, and he says you don't have to worry. And he still adds on, telling that why you should not worry in 2.23. Hare Krishna. Nainam chintanti shastrani, nainam tahati pavakah, nachainam kledayantyapo, na soshayati maruta. Hare Krishna.
The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor can be burned by fire, nor moistured by water, nor withered by the wind.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So he says the soul can never be cut into pieces, right? By any weapon. So that's a specialty. It cannot be burned, moistened, withered by wind. So Maruta means wind. That's why Maruti is the name of our Hanuman. right? So he says, soul, nothing can happen to the soul. And why are you worried, right? Because he says that, your compassion is for what? For the body, which is temporary, because you should be worried. And why you should not worry about the body is, even if you are going to, according to you, kill Bhishma, Dronacharya, they are going to get a new body, right? Because body is nothing but a set of, you have two philosophy. Philosophy one is that if you believe that they're going to be born again, which is the right belief, which is reincarnation, then the soul is not dead, because there is speaking about the properties of soul. Whereas if you think that and also he is going to get a new body, right? New birth, new body. But if you think that he is not going to die, right? And and there is only one lifetime. Fine, if you believe that he will not have life again, then body is only chemicals. Why are you worried about chemicals, right? Anyone here in this room is going to say, oh my God, my Vim liquid soap just poured off one glass, and will you sit in a corner and cry for one day? Anybody would do that? If you're silent, I would assume all of you would do that.
No, ma'am.
No, Mataji.
Thank you so much. So that's the case, right? So none of us are going to do that. So he says that if you think that the body is not going to exist, then this is the story. So that's how he tells. And then now on moving to the second question. So what is the second issue he had? Someone told. What was the second challenge Arjuna was facing? What second? Yeah, that's right. Enjoyment, right? No enjoyment. So let's read how he's countering. So the enjoyment part is he's handled between 2.31 to 37. Hare Krishna. Hato va prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahi tasmat utishta kaunteya yuddhaya kritta nishchayah. Hare Krishna.
O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or if you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up and fight with determination. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly saying that either you will be killed on the battlefield. By getting killed in the battlefield, you will attain the heavenly planet, or ultimately you will be conquered and you will enjoy in the earth, right? So you don't have to worry, because one of that will definitely happen. Therefore,
Ma'am, who is the son of Kunti, ma'am?
So, O son of Kunti. Kunti is Arjuna. Why is he called son of Kunti? Is Arjuna's mother's name is Kunti. And how Kunti is related is Kunti's brother is only Vasudeva. And who's Vasudeva?
Krishna's father.
Krishna's father, right? So basically they are cousins. So Krishna's father's sister's son only is Arjuna. So Arjuna is addressing as Kunti. So here you will see a lot of names. You will see 33 names of Krishna coming up and 20 names of Arjuna, and each name which you're going to do in level 2, you will get in depth, right? Because today and these 18 days, we will not be able to cover so much. But we will see that each name has a particular reason. Here he is telling son of Kunti, because he's telling, hey, you are a son of Kunti and she has sacrificed everything in life, and you're talking about enjoyment. You're talking about your enjoyment, and Kunti never thought of enjoyment, right? So we'll also tell, no, oh my God, are you his son? You're behaving in this fashion. Are you his daughter or her daughter? Right? So that's what he is giving that indirect meaning, telling, are you son of Kunti? I can't even believe, because you attain that and you will conquer and enjoy the earth kingdom. Therefore, get up and fight, because he's telling bumper offer. You die, you have Swargaloka. Why? Because if anybody dies in the battle, if a Kshatriya, especially in the battlefield, he goes to Swarga, heaven. And if he dies on the earthly kingdom, then, I mean, if he's alive in the earthly kingdom, the only scope of him being alive is if he's one, because Duryodhana is not going to tell him, okay, now I've taken the kingdom, I'm going to give you free, scot free. Will he do? He'll not, right? So if they are alive, it means they won. So he says that no problem. If you're alive, it means you won, and therefore you don't have to worry, right? So he's giving that offer. And he still continues. So let's continue along with him. Hare Krishna. Avacha vadam shabahun vadishyanti tavahitaha nindantastava samartyam tato dukkhataram nupim. Hare Krishna.
Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Hare Krishna.
2.37, he's telling your enemies are going to describe you in many unkind words, right? And for somebody like you, for a Kshatriya, it's going to be very painful, right? Death is easier, they can handle. But even they are trained to kill, they are trained to die, but they can't tolerate, this. So even among us, and it used to happen in school. Many times it happens for us, we change two roles, but normally there'll be one person who will be very sensitive when the teacher scolds, yes or no? Whereas most of us will not feel, okay, she's screaming, it's okay, chodo hai.
Ma'am, they will cry, ma'am.
Who will cry?
When teachers, somebody will cry, ma'am, and teachers will scold them.
Thank you, Chetan. So you've seen, right? If someone scolds, no teacher will cry. For me, I used to be very thick-skinned. I think when teachers scold, I used to be an outstanding student, right? I've told you all this. So outstanding, meaning of outstanding, you all know, right? Not outstanding in that sense, not on the top, but then outstanding, I used to be outside. So I used to have a very serious face, but I never used to cry and all. I used to tell, okay, acha, they have to scold. So that's a feeling I had. And in college, that feeling was even more, right? So but whereas some of them will cry, and there are stories, some have attempted suicide, committed. Not that I'm supporting suicide, but generally I'm saying, right? Some of them are very sensitive, oversensitive, extremely. So these kind of things are happening, right? So what is happening? So they get very upset. So that is the situation with Kshatriya. Kshatriya will not die, he will kill, right? So those who hit the teacher and all don't think he's a Kshatriya. Today there is no Kshatriya and all, we are all Sudras only. So this is the situation, right? So that's what he's saying. So he's saying that you don't have to worry. Your enemies will describe, and instead of that, you can die. It's better to die than to be dishonored, is what. Die in the sense, not suicide, but then, you can die in the battle, is what he is mentioning. And, the third issue, right? Sin. Sin will, what is the third issue? I should be asking you, I should not be doing. What is the third challenge?
Sin.
Yeah. So sin, he is now worried, oh my God, sin, because I'm going to kill the elders. Perfect. But before I explain this, tell me, a military guy is killing so many of them in the battlefield. Is he doing a sinful activity? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry?
No. No, ma'am.
No? Okay. For someone who said, yes, I'm going to change slightly better. Now a judge, gives hanging to someone. Is he doing the wrong thing? He's killing someone, right? So is that...
But he's just performing his duty.
Yes. So he's just performing his duty, and that's exactly what Krishna is bringing, very beautifully brought it. So he's just saying the same. He's saying, Neha Vikramana Sosti Pratyavayo na Vidyate Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhaya. Before we get into this shloka, what he says is he's doing as a duty, and therefore it's not required. So there is no sin in any devotional activity. For that, there are two examples. Example, Hanuman burned Lanka. Is he going to incur sin? No, he didn't do for personal reason. And there was a very righteous reason. So therefore, he doesn't incur sin. So as a military man, and so is a judge. So no sin. But let's see what Krishna is going to think, right? So now this small little mouse is there. It's a story time. So this mouse loves strawberry, and it sees the lamp of Krishna and thinks it's a strawberry. So it thinks, oh, yummy strawberry, and it goes near the lamp thinking it's a strawberry and gets burnt. Now everybody knows it's foolish, but Krishna thinks, oh my God, this small little mouse wants to save my lamp. So nice. And he liberated. And all around him, Chitraketu, Yamaraj, everyone are telling Krishna, don't be dumb. I mean, they didn't use the word dumb. Obviously, they know. He said, no, Krishna, don't do this. This is not straw. It's greedy of strawberry. Krishna says, no. Is Krishna dumb? Doesn't Krishna know that the mouse is doing this? See, it sees the lamp and gets burned. Doesn't Krishna know? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So what happens is Krishna is so lovable. So I'm going to take you back to your childhood, right? So think of a person, and think of a person who's your most favorite person in your mind, right? So just think of the person. But before that, let me just go back to your childhood. So when you're 1 year, 2 year, all of you, maybe you should ask your mom, parents, you will put your hand in your mouth, and the chocolate, you will eat half, and the hand will be so sticky, so dirty that somebody will want to even sit next to you, and you will put that same hand in your mom's mouth. Have you all done it? Every one of us have done it. And your mom will think, oh my God, lovely child, so sweet of her and him. He wants me to taste chocolate, but the child will be full. He doesn't want the chocolate, or he doesn't like the chocolate, and even food, he'll dump it in the mama's mouth. And the mom will think, wow, so sweet. Happened or not? Mummies have told you the story? No? And even sometimes you notice with your best friend or your very close person to your heart will give you something because they don't like, but you don't feel like that, right? You'll feel like, oh, the person is very concerned about me. They want me to have it. Yes or no? Yes or no? Have you felt?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So that's the same way Krishna is feeling. In this case, he's not dumb, but he just feels that he wants to give. He loves us so much and he wants to give credence. And fourth one is family tradition. I always remember this family tradition. Fourth one is family tradition. So what is family tradition? Is he's worried that the family tradition will get ruined. Right? Why? Because elders are not there to take care of the family or to guide us correctly. So only to elders, because most of the time you go back to your grandmother and mother and ask them, okay, mom, okay, grandmom, you're doing all this puja, what book you refer? They won't have an answer because it will be coming through family, right? The family would have told and they would have followed. Now they have another issue. In our case also, we've done it indirectly. I'll tell you what. I used to have my dad who used to, my dad used to bring his friends and I have no idea who they are. And some relatives, I've never seen them in my life, right? And he will tell, okay, go dress yourself well. First and foremost, I won't understand the meaning of dress yourself because we will be anyway dressed. Second is well, that's another issue because for me, understanding well dressed is either when I go for a wedding or if it's my wedding or some best friend's wedding where I dress myself very well. Otherwise, whatever dress I'm wearing is a good dress. Yes or no? Because none of us are going to be in a swimsuit in the house. Come on, all of you. Yeah, yes. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and is my father alone like this or even you all experience this kind of story? Same with you, Oppa. Thank you so much. Simran and Navami, thank you so much because we're all together, right? And on top of it, they will tell very well dressed. And we have to go and take one salwar. And I'm in Chennai, so it's very hot. And wear change from our shorts and wear this so thick salwar with dupatta and look at that person and smile. That smile is so difficult in my life because I've never seen the person already coming there and standing is like pain. Top of it, smile. And that's the time, even the normal smile, I forget. That smile is so artificial and I'll just wait for them to tell, hello, what's your name? Just feel like running away. Yes, thanks, Pujita. Just feel like, okay, I can breathe. But why do we do all this? We can just tell, no, dad, not possible, right? Why don't we do that? It's only because these people will judge and our family tradition is in stake. Unknowingly we do that, but this is actually, if you go deep inside, because we don't want to, give them a feeling that what kind of children or your dad to feel bad, right? So we're just trying to go with the so-called family tradition. So that answers your fourth question. And he says that your family will be stuck if you don't fight because you're a Kshatriya and if you're running away from the battle, it's an insult. So where is your family tradition going away? By running only your family tradition go. By staying, your family tradition will not go. Please stay and fight, right? And the fifth one is indecisive. I don't know what should I do. I'm so confused, right? And very common. This is something now you are next. While I'm telling you all this, start thinking, what quality is more in you, which is going to come up. So 2.41, Hare Krishna. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kuru nandana bahu shakya anantascha buddheyo vyavasayinam. Hare Krishna. Please go ahead and read, ma.
The blessed Lord said, O Prata, when a man gives you all varieties of sense desires which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness.
When a mind gives up all varieties of desire, right? So coming back, before I go to that shloka, let me just come to this shloka so you will understand this better. Vyavasayadikma buddhi means focused in one, right? Resolute mind, which means having one focus. Ekeha means one thing, right? Kurunandana is talking about him. Bahushakya anantascha. So have complete focus on something which is inclined. Where is he telling? So Arjuna, when, who's this elderly person who's sitting on the floor? This is Arjuna, I told you this. Who's this person?
Dronacharya.
Thank you.
Dronacharya.
Yes, Dronacharya. So what is Dronacharya doing? He's telling him to shoot and he asks, what do you see? And he says, I see the eye. So if you have a single focus, you'll be successful. If you have multiple focus, it's just not going to land up, right? You're going to be in disaster. So he's saying that, he says, you're indecisive because you're confused. Classic example, tomorrow, next week is exam. What should I read? I'm very confused. Physics, chemistry, biology, everything will come when we are small. And in 10th standard, we day in, day out keep telling that, oh, 10th standard is so confusing because we have so many subjects to read. Once I come to 11th and 12th, I am going to have subject of my choice. And I know it's difficult. I know there will be many books, but still I will learn only the subject of my choice. Yes or no? We felt this, right? And in 11th standard, we feel, oh my God, 10th standard had variety. 11th is the same boring subject. And if I go to maths, oh my God, one full volume, I am sitting months together in one thing called the geometry, trigonometry, calculus. Yeah. So this is such a painful experience is what we feel. Now going to for 2.55, let me read the shloka, Hare Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogatan Atmanevatmana Tushta Stita Prajna Stadhochate. Hare Krishna. You can read now.
The blessed Lord said, O Pratha, when a man gives up all varieties of sense desire which arise from mental conquest, and when his mind finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness.
So he's telling, oh Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of sense desire, right? So he's telling.
Ma'am, who is Partha, ma'am?
Sorry?
Who is Partha?
Partha Sarthi is Krishna because he is the Sarthi. Sarthi means driver. So Partha is the name of Arjuna. So this entire chapter 2 is a conversation between, in fact, the entire Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. But there are two more characters which will come here. Sometimes Sanjaya will speak. And you all know Sanjaya, right? Yesterday, Brinda would have told. So Sanjaya is the secretary of
Dhritarashtra.
Yes, thank you so much. And they are seeing, Sanjay has got the Divya Drishti to see how we can watch the cricket match through your CCTV. So is this, right?
Yeah.
So that is what it is. And satisfaction in self alone. And he is said to be pure transcendental conscious, right? So he is in a very pure transcendental conscious. Now, can you tell me who's a small little boy?
Arjuna, ma'am.
So this boy is not Arjuna. The previous boy is Arjuna. This boy?
Prahlad.
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. This is Prahlad, and he's being tormented and tortured by his father, Hiranyakashipu.
Yeah.
By all means. First, he put snake, he had people to kill him, he had this, and he is so elevated that, why are we telling he is elevated? Because nothing could shake him. We saw, right, Vyavasayatmika buddhi, one focus is like Arjuna. And here we see the man gives up all desires. He is just not bothered. He is satisfied and he's in such a conscious that nothing can harm him, right? He is very elevated. Why? Because now Arjuna had this.
Who is Prahlada, ma'am?
Okay, Prahlada. Okay, you want to know the story of Prahlad? Prahlad. Okay, I'll tell the Prahlad story before we continue. So Prahlad is a small child of the demons. There was a demon called the Hiranyakashipu. Right? So Hiranyakashipu had one challenge. What happened is he did a lot of benediction, and you all will be familiar with Ravana, but Hiranyakashipu is someone who did so much of benediction. If I have the picture, I'll show it to you at the end. And his body itself was literally eaten by ants. So many days he was doing this tapas, and he was praying Brahma. So Brahma comes and he says, and the body, when you do all this, there's so much of heat that created that it disturbed and the demigods, all the Devat Lokas, right? And Brahma comes down and says, hey, I'm going to give you a benediction. Whatever you ask, please go ahead. So Hiranyakashipu says, I should not die. I should be immortal. Brahma says, I can't do that because I'm going to die someday or the other. My lifetime is, only 100 years, not as per our calculation, according to Brahma's life. So I can't offer something which I don't have myself. So Hiranyakashipu says a lot of condition. He says, this is in Srimad Bhagavatam 7th chapter. He says that, you can be eaten, you cannot be hit, morning you cannot kill, evening you should not kill, I should not be killed by an animal, I should not be killed by a snake, I should not be killed by a man, this, that, and so many conditions, which basically permutation, combination of all, wherein nothing can happen. That's the thing which he does. Okay. Okay. Nice, right? So many permutation combination, nothing seems to be working. So what's going to happen? Let's see. So he finally gets a son. he hates, Hiranyakashipu hates Vishnu. Why he hates Vishnu is because Vishnu, in his one of the avatars, kills his brother. So he's very angry with Vishnu. He wants to take revenge. Now his son, so what they do is the Devatas, like Indra and all, kidnap his wife when she is pregnant. And they take, because what they feel is this fellow is so powerful and he's causing so much of stress and disturbance. So this son should be killed in the womb, or at least he should not give him the son, because that son will be another one more demon. Obviously, right? A demon son will be demon. And Narada says, no, that's not going to happen. We are not going to do this, very bad. So we are going to take, I'm going to take custody of the child and the mother, and she takes care of them. And during then, he keeps preaching Srimad Bhagavatam, Vishnu, everything to the mother. And the baby in the womb hears that full story. And that baby is Prahlad and is already a devotee, comes completely devoted. So what happens is this child goes to Gurukul, right, at the age of 2. And at the age of 2, they don't go to Gurukul. The father asks, who is the best? Immediately it's Vishnu. So the father thinks, this child is guided wrongly. So he puts him into a proper class and he calls everybody. Now, who is the teacher for the demons? Does anyone know the name of the teacher for the demons? Sukracharya. You've heard of this name? Sukracharya? He is the one, and his son is his personal teacher for the small boy. And he says, please go ahead. Krishna. So he says, oh my God, this son is so, he's talking things which someone should have taught, right? And they say, no way we will talk about Vishnu. Why would we promoted you? So this is what is going to happen. And he is going on and on. And then he tries everything. Whatever son he loved. So sorry. So this is happening and he's so upset. And then what he does, he goes ahead and creates this issue and he decides, okay, we're not going to do this. We're going to be done with this, this challenge, and let's put an end to this entire issue of Vishnu. Let me first kill my son. He takes the call. And then he gets so upset, and then he goes ahead and kills the son, attempts to kill the son. So many ways. He'll put in fire, he'll send an elephant to stamp him, he'll throw him from the mountain, nothing will happen to him. Right? And then after that only Narsimha Avatar, you all know, right? Half lion and half person. Krishna is already present in Vaikuntha in that form and he comes down and he saves. Now everybody is scared because Ugram, right? He is very, in fact, he says, come from the pillar, and the father says, if your God is there, say, ask him to come through the pillar. He comes tearing the pillar and he kills him. How? Because he said no weapon should kill. So he doesn't use weapon. His nails, with his nail, he pulls the intestine. Everybody are scared. And this child alone is very calm because he knows it's God, right? So he's so happy. How? Because anything in the mouth of the cat, right? If a cat is holding a rat, it's very scared. But if the cat is holding its own kitten in the mouth, the kitten is never scared, right? So is Prahlad. So he's a very exalted devotee. So this is a story of Prahlad. I wanted to tell you all a story and you brought in some story, which is very important story. And Narsimha Dev is during the first Yuga. We are in Kali Yuga. Narsimha Dev comes in Satya Yuga. So now going back to 2.55, we are talking about Prabhupada, who we have enough lessons. Yesterday you had one session. I think day before I gave a session, so I'm not going to highlight. He is a founder Acharya. He also had that, right, to spread Krishna consciousness, very focused vision. And 2.62, he is going to talk about Dhira, who is a Uttamadhikari, who has this focused vision. Why? Because he says, hey, Arjuna, you're thinking of running away to the forest. It's not going to work. Why? He's going to explain now. Hare Krishna. Jayate vinayan punsha. Sangasteju prajayate. Sangat sanjayate kama. Kama krodo abhijayate. Hare Krishna.
While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment from them. And from such attachment, lust develops. And from lust arises anger. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very nice. Navami, okay. Lord Narsimha is the family deity. So nice. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. So in fact, if you told me this earlier, I would have made you tell the story. So maybe you can share at the end of the class things which I have not told about Narsimha. Hare Krishna. So what is it? Oh my God, I jumped. So he's saying when, what happens? So let's take an example of watching a TV. Okay. In the TV, what happens? There is an ad for lipstick. You may not have thought of lipstick, but the moment you see the lipstick, eyes is seeing. So immediately you feel, let's try this lipstick. Oh my God, Fair and Lovely, I'll become fair. I don't know anyone who's used Fair and Lovely and become fair. But then that attraction, right? Now all our boys will look at the girl. Oh, that ad girl is very cute. Sorry, here, don't mind, just pulling your leg. So what happens? All this happens when your eyes sees that, right? Until then you don't. So that's why while contemplating the objects of senses, when you're contemplating, they develop attachment, right? From that attachment, lust. Lust means desire. Okay, here lust means desire. So you will have the desire, okay, I need to buy the lipstick, or I should see the ad again. And from that lust, what happens? Anger comes. Why? Because I want it so badly. I don't get it. Mama tells, don't use lipstick. It will spoil your lip. Dad tells, it's so expensive. It's not worth it. You get angry because you have a desire, right? So that's what he says. From object, attachment is coming. A sense object. See, lust will come, anger will come. Then what happens? You're deluded. Deluded come. Bewilderment. Mind is confused. Oh my God, I need it and I'm not getting it. Because of that, you lose your intelligence. Your intelligence knows, right? Fair and Lovely will not become fair. Lipstick may not become that beautiful. You want it, it's different, but then you become desperate and you lose your intelligence. And finally, what happens is you fall deep down. Right? So this is what it is mentioned. So this is not about whether you should use lipstick or not. It's about just a desire, which I thought I'll give it as an example. So we saw very clearly Krishna, how he countered the argument of compassion. 2.11 to 30, he says, we are not the body, we are the soul. 2.31 to 2.37, he says, heaven or kingdom, right? There'll be no enjoyment. He says that clearly. 2.33, he says, devotional activity, there'll be no sin. Don't have fear, you will have absolutely no sin. And then 2.45 to 24, what he says, be a role model to prevent varnashra dharma, destruction of family, right? We saw. Because he says, don't worry, nothing will happen. If you don't fight, only people will talk about your family bad. Otherwise, nothing will happen. 2.41, indecision, he says, serve with determination, no problem at all. And he says, you don't try to run away because that's the quality of Adhira and you won't even fit there. Thank you, Navami. I'm accurate in the story. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. I read from Srimad Bhagavatam. So, so this is the thing. So overall, the moral of the story is this, that second chapter comes with the fact that Krishna concludes and solves each and every problem. And then second chapter is the summary. Why is it called summary? The story ends here. Technically, we don't need 18 chapters. Second chapter summarizes everything. And he speaks only once about body, soul. But why are we having third chapter? We will wait till tomorrow and we'll see. Right? So my only request is I usually start sharp on dot. So please don't miss. And since I take class fast, you will miss a lot if you come 5-10 minutes late. Hare Krishna. And also, if you have any doubts, please raise your hand. We can address these doubts. Any doubts?
Yeah, I have a question. So
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, on chapter 1, on chapter 1, that is verse 40 or 41, I think. So Arjuna has asked intercaste marriage, and if my question is that a brahmana can marry a kshatriya or any other caste, so that the parents of the brahmana will go to hell or heaven.
You're asking me or you're telling me?
No, I'm asking you.
So which one are you talking about? Which reference are you taking?
So no, I'm asking a question from chapter 1. Arjuna has asked Krishna that if a woman marry another caste, that is Kshatriya or any Shudra and anything else.
If a man marries another
man or woman, anyone.
Okay, man marries another girl or a girl marries someone. Okay.
Yeah. And so their parents will go to hell. Arjuna has asked to Krishna.
So basically, story, no, they won't. But there is a particular style in which you marry. For example, a Kshatriya can marry another Kshatriya.
No, a Brahman can marry a Kshatriya or what?
Yes. But that's what I'm saying. So a Brahmin, so it's like this. A Brahmin can choose to marry a Kshatriya.
Yeah.
But there are some, it's a huge topic. So this caste never existed then. Let me make that clear. So this caste system of Brahmin, non-Brahmin, non-vegetarian, vegetarian.
Yes.
Those days, the concept of Kshatriya is based, or Brahmina, not Guna and Karma. Basically, the qualities which you have. For example, Arjuna can fight.
Yeah.
You have okay, fine, Abhimanyu, Gauravas you leave. I'm not
yes.
Because they're all Kshatriya family. We also
Yeah.
have Brahmana fighting along with them. Who is that? Ashwatthama.
Yeah. Yes.
There, right? He has fought. Now,
Yes.
does it mean Brahmin should not fight? No. If he should not have fought, then how will Ashwatthama be in the war?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So there were no such restrictions, but we started concocting seeing these things. So their rules were very different. I'll tell you what the rule is. So a Kshatriya can marry a Brahmin provided the father agrees to it. That is, the girl's father agrees. So there are some,
Okay.
right? So just a girl coming and proposing a Kshatriya, he cannot marry unless a father goes for it. Right? So a Brahmin has a choice to choose that way. However, a Kshatriya can marry even a Sudra.
Yes. Yes.
If he marries a Sudra, the Sudra's child cannot become a king because of one reason, that there are certain requirements for them, right? A Sudra by nature will have different qualities which they can't keep up. If they are able to keep up, it's different. Example, Vidura is one
Yes.
example. Sorry, 1 second. Vidura is the brother of
Dhritarashtra.
Dhritarashtra. So
Yeah.
stepbrother of Dhritarashtra was born out of the maid, but they treated him equally. They did not insult him or anything, right?
Yes.
Whereas somebody else may keep him insulted, but Vidura was very elevated. He was able to keep up. But if Vidura itself is having 4 girls, bringing them, 4 girls means not marrying. I'm talking about bringing them and what following, then he cannot come to the quality of a Kshatriya. So it's mean and karma. So will a person from another class become a Kshatriya? Yes. For example, let's take Bharat Maharaj, right? I'm going to bring the story later. But Bharat had 100 brothers, of which he became a Kshatriya. But there are initially they had 9 brothers who became Brahmanas. They followed the Brahmanical thing, but they were all from Kshatriya. Obviously, parents are Kshatriya, so the kid will be Kshatriya. And maybe I'll give you an example of Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra is a Kshatriya.
Okay.
But he took up the Brahmin task. Same way, one more person is, you must be telling me, any other Brahmin you can think of? Parasuram. Parasuram is from a Brahmin family, but he wanted to become a Kshatriya. So
Yes.
it's not frozen. So if I have to go to another thing, let's take Prahalad. Prahalad is a demon son. How can he have a right to rule a kingdom?
Yeah.
Right? Along with the son also, he should have killed. If not killed, at least keep him sidelined. No, why will you put him in the kingdom? Right?
Yes. Yes.
These rules of casteism is not there, and I'm very allergic to it. And I'll tell you.
That is, in these days we are just following the caste system, but on those days there is no caste system, right?
They never had caste system then.
Yeah. So that is
as caste, which is not the case. Varna is different. Ashram is different. We'll bring it up later. But just since you've asked us, Varnas are 4 Varna: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya,
and Shudra.
Had rules. The Brahmanas were intelligent and they could right?
Yes.
And Kshatriyas will learn from them and they can fight. A Brahmana will have a different thing. If they see a girl being insulted in the road, right? A Brahmana won't be able to go fight. A Kshatriya.
Yeah.
You can see that even in the road now, right? You see someone to fight. You can see that spirit. You can see. Whereas, honestly, some of us, will close our eyes and go. Some of us will at least have the courtesy to take the phone and inform someone, police or someone. You understand what I'm telling? Behave among us. And there'll be one joker who will be taking selfie video. Right?
Okay.
I don't know whether he will not even come under Sutra. He'll come below Sutra. Because Sutra at least will run and tell Kshatriya, please come, there is something happening.
Yes, true. That is my question. My main question is that a Brahmana girl can marry another caste, then their parents will go to hell. Have listened like this.
No. There is no concept of hell, but they had a formal, first of all, they had Swayam, they had a concept where the girl was allowed to choose the husband.
Yes.
Swayamvaram, I'm talking about, where everybody had the right to choose their partner and to come to you. He married Arjuna thinking he is a Brahmin, and there were a lot of Brahmins also in the assembly. So if you go to hell, you think the king will give the choice for them to marry?
No.
Right? So that's
okay. So there is not any, but means that
I have not read any rule. It could be aligned to some story. It could be that you run away or something like that. It could be, giving up the kingdom. I don't know in what context which comes, but technically there is nothing called if you marry across, you go to hell. It's not written in Shastras. But obviously you can't marry, a Sudra cannot take a Brahmin girl and run away. because he won't be able to make, and first of all, a girl will not have the access to run away because she will be constantly under protection. She will be protected by the father or the brother or the child, son. The chance of someone trying to do harm is very remote there.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The caste system, I had a bad experience. I've always had this. So in my 12th, I don't know if we all had. So we used to be struggling and studying, obviously for our UG and PG and all that, especially UG, right? So I used to have, we were 7 of us in the group, and one girl in the group used to tell, look at us. Instead of the book, we'll be telling what you're doing here, study here. It's okay, I get 60%, college will call me and give seats. Why? Because she was from, I can't remember, SC or ST, scheduled caste, right? So they had this concept of not only seats, not only percentage. Each college had a quota to fill.
Yes.
I know it now, but I didn't know it. She will tell, they'll invite me because they have to fill. They can't have. So even if I don't get 60, I will be welcome. So basically, Radhika, according to me, your 98% is equal to my 58%. So I used to give me, imagine just before the exam, you're struggling, the feeling, right?
Yes.
How you're going to fight, and someone talks like this, and my friend will tell, just go, don't disturb us. Furious then. And what she was not lying. What she was telling is genuine, right? Because, we used to be feeling so uncomfortable. I was struggling for something like, you have to hit a 90% to get a seat in a regular college. And she's telling that even if I get 60% or 65% or 55%, they'll invite me. And that point in time, it's very uncomfortable situation. I mean, you just think of that age of 15, 16. Now we understand. 15, 16 years gives you a lot of stress. You understand, right? I don't know how old you are, but I know that entire group here is anywhere between 14 to 25. So you all would have just experienced, or you may be experiencing that.
Yes, ma'am.
Hare Krishna. So I propose that I will either tell you a story, or I will take you through one of these presentations. I will show you the presentation, but I'm not going to explain this presentation because we are already close to 4. I propose to sharp 4 close this class. I may extend 5 minutes this way, that way. But my only request is, we all took Sakalpa. I'll be very happy if you are all present on all the days, because only then you will know. Because with Bhagavad Gita, you should know once in life. So don't miss this opportunity, very rare. Even if you have exams, even if you're busy, I am going to upload the recording. You can see the recording, but please come here because it's a nice thing which Krishna has given. Not everybody will have this opportunity of Krishna conscious, right? And can you see 1, 2, all these are like consciousness, karma. These are the presentation which I will start off from tomorrow, right? One of these presentation we can go through and we can take it forward. Every day, we will have what is karma, what is conscious. All these are questions which even scientists don't have answers. So some nice PPTs are there. So we will probably do half an hour of Bhagavad Gita and we'll run to PPT from tomorrow. Today is a long session, plus yesterday's link I had to bring here and there. So no time for another presentation. So if you can still type your questions, I'll just end. I'm not going to end the session. I'll just tell the prayers. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. Okay. Adesha Duta. Okay, the soul transfers from one body to another. Does it happen instantly or gradually? Neither instantly nor gradually. It's not slow process. But the time for it to take another body depends on the suitable body availability and time of karma. So let's say that I'm dead. So there is no assurity that I am going to take another human body. I may be a cat, I may be a rat, I may be another human, or I may be so good that I may become a devata, demigod. So based on the, so there is no timeline. There is no timeline that from the time I die within 24 hours or 48 hours. It can be weeks, it can be months, like or how they show in movies. It can be years or yugas also. Hare Krishna. So any other question? So most of the days I will be the teacher for you. I will be teaching, I will be taking this class. If I'm not well or if I'm stuck, Brinda will take over. Brinda is nice, I told you all on day 1. He is also called Nimai. He's called Brinda. I call him Nimai. Prabhu, and he's very sweet. He explains so well. He's a very young boy, and you will surely enjoy his session. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. If card didn't exist during that period, why Wasn't Ekalaiva accepted as discipline of Dronacharya? No. There's a difference between caste and acceptance as a discipline. The issue is, that's what I'm telling you. So there are certain norms which are to be followed. It's not only Ekalaiva, it is also Karna had this issue, not only because of caste. There are certain rules, right? It's not like Hong Kong. Hong Kong teaches every Kung Fu, Karate, right? Kung Fu, actually, to be precise. Why? Because they believe men or women have to have self-defense. That's the place. Now, why India is not having the same principle? Why we don't teach Kung Fu or Karate, whatever, in schools? It's not bad, right? I'm not going to come and tell you whether it's good, whether you can protect yourself from 100 people. I'm not getting into that. Why they don't teach? It's a good principle. What happens is each of them have a specific rule. So typically what happens is they have a nomenclature, and Dronacharya is a good example, but not all are great examples, right? So if you take, for that matter, Bhima, not Bhima, sorry, Duryodhana's guru. You know who taught Duryodhana the club?
Dronacharya, ma'am.
Not only Dronacharya,
Balram.
not the base, but someone gave him the finer points.
Balram.
Huh?
Balram.
Balram, thank you so much, Balram. Balram knows very well this fellow is a childhood enemy. Everybody told him, why are you teaching him? You know, he's a horrible guy.
Yes.
Because he was horrible from day one. No, it's not that suddenly he became bad. But there was a small issue. There was an issue where he had no choice. It's not that he didn't. He said that, you know, you guys have to fight with equal. Yeah? If this fellow is not equal, then what's the point? You guys must be equal to fight. So I want you all to fight. So therefore, I am going to have this guy, I'm going to teach him. This is the reason he told. But on a very serious note, that alone was not the reason. The reason is, when anyone is asked to teach something, they don't normally refuse. Oh my God. Sorry, just 1 second. So what they do is they never allow. They never used to, but certain things, for example, one more example I'll tell you. In first chapter, you would have heard, but I'm repeating it again. Duryodhana, what is this? Dronacharya's close friend was Drupada. So you get no Drupada Putra. Dushtadyumna is Drupada's son. Drupada and Drona had a kind of misunderstanding where he says that I'm going to have a son. I think he would have told the story. So I'm telling you that son will kill you. He knew that. It's not like secret, no, open, right? And he got trained by Dronacharya. Dronacharya only taught, right? So what happens for us is we hear one story, we don't get into the depth, and we divert. We completely divert, right? So if you take that way, if you take Parasuram, he was a Brahmin, but he behaved like a Kshatriya. But he also made a resolution that I will not teach anyone but a Brahmin. I will never teach a Kshatriya, because he had a bad experience with Kshatriya, right? So each of them will have their own rule. That is why Karna disguised himself as a Brahmin and learned from him. So why I'm saying this is because it is not about caste system there. It is about a particular person can fit into a particular trait. Another person cannot fit. I'll give you an example of a Brahmin. A Brahmin boy will go for a 25 years of brahmacharya. They will not get him married at 25. Until 25, he will be asked to do. Whereas a Sudra gets married at 16. Can you say, oh, Brahmana is so bad, yeah, Brahmin father? No, because a Brahmin has the control to maintain till 25. You keep a Sudra like that till the age of 25, those days, he will get corrupted. He will go after 4 girls, or he will go into he will go and behave badly. So they don't want to take a chance. So they get him married and get him to lead a Grahastha life. Right? Now, the same Brahmin, there are exceptional Brahmins, tell him that go save the nation, he cannot do. His body is not trained for that. His mind is not trained. Some of them are exceptions. That is the story, right? So everybody cannot just go and learn unless they feel will fit into that. Sorry. Right? So it is not the guna karma. We are going to discuss this later. Wait till the 4th chapter, you will have more clarity on what basis this is divided. So just wait for another 2 more chapters. Day after tomorrow, you will have more clarity on this. I know I have not answered you completely, but please wait. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, ma'am.
2 more questions. Pujita, if our life is predestined, why are we here, ma'am? Who told it's predestined? You have to wait till the 4th chapter. That's what I'm telling you. It's not predestined. Everything is, we are not remotes. Krishna is not operating it as like robo. Unfortunately, if it is predestined, then we don't have to do. No, you don't have to listen to Bhagavad Gita. I can go kill 4 people and come back. It is not. Whatever I do, right? We say, right? What you do comes back to you. Science. Science is also spirituality. They do, according to us, science and spirituality are like this. We're going to do a science and spirituality 4 sessions. We'll know
Law of attraction. No, ma'am.
absolutely. So everything. So we are talking, thank you for bringing up. Law of secret talks about law of attraction. Nobody talks about management, talks about art, science talks about law of engineering. That's stronger. So coming back to your point, if this is what it is, can you change? Yes, you can. You can change your destiny.
Ma'am, our karma changes our destiny now.
Karma changes over?
Our karma, the things we do, everything is predestined. Then what we are doing, the karma will change our destiny now. That's why astrology can predict.
Karma changes destiny or not. I'll tell you one simple example. Just answer this. You and me are walking in the road, okay?
Okay.
Like one girl, we will take one knife, poke them. 1 second. Ideally, you should be going to your college. I should be coming and taking next day Bhagavad Gita, right?
Okay.
In a normal state, by doing this, police will come and put both of us behind bars. Yes or no?
Yes.
You can't go to college. So my action changes my next day itself. Yes or no?
Yes.
My karma made me to kill. Not karma, we both decide to kill. We have choices to kill or keep quiet and run away or go. But choice of doing isn't us. It's
okay. The choice is ours.
Choice is ours. Choice is always ours, which we are going to see it in the 5th chapter. Wait till the 5th
and
chapter.
It will make our destiny. Our choice will make our destiny, right?
Absolutely. Our choices make our destiny. Our destiny does not make our choice. Our choice makes.
Yes.
Yeah, you just now told me, right, that one teacher scolds and one kid cried, and there is one kid who commits suicide. None of you all have done both, right? So our actions decide our destiny, right? It's
yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Ma'am, how can astrologer say our destiny? Astrologer does not say our destiny. I don't talk
just predict,
but he broadly predicts what can happen. But that's not the fact. It can change.
Yeah, we can change.
Absolutely. So many things astrologer tells you. According to the astrologer, someone told me I may die very early. So many times I should have died.
Yeah, this has happened to me also, ma'am.
Yeah. This happened to you? Yeah. Don't believe all this. All based. In fact, I hope my cousin doesn't listen to this. So my cousin, and this is when I was in school. Okay. She was like 3.5, 4 years younger to me. She told that she started crying one day and she couldn't say. I asked what. She said the astrologer told that my mom will die. When she said the mom will die, I don't know. She said when mom will die in some 2 years from now or something. 2 years from now, I got so scared. I also cried. That's different. But that moment I didn't react. Inside I was very scared. Okay. Then she said, what can I do? This is what nothing can stop. I said, okay. Then I told her, I know one thing. I know one Rishi. Very powerful Rishi. All a made up story. No Rishi I know. And I'll get one thread, and that thread, if you die, we can change the world. She said, yes, can you get the thread? So I found some thread. I don't know what thread, also some black thread I tied. Still she's having it. Okay. I've never told her the truth. So many years went, and she said, this thread is so powerful. Akka, this thread is so powerful. This thread is so powerful. I wanted her to keep the thread also more than that. Now, where will I go and tell? I didn't want to tell her because I didn't want her to lose. Maybe I was a little guilty. And I now today feel that, I don't want to tell her that I lied. Because for me, truth is I talk honesty, right? So for me, truth is absolute. So I don't want to break that image. No, I am not honest to you. I lied to you. I didn't want to bring that up. More than me, I thought, she will lose the confidence of, again, the fear should not come. Someday I will tell her. I hope the day comes soon, but I just thought I will tell you all. So these kind of things always happen. So astrology, and my aunt is very fine till now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, ma'am.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. So if all questions are done, I'll end the meeting. And before I end the meeting, I want one Hare Krishna from everyone loud and clear, and we'll meet again tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, ma'am.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I'll end the meeting.